Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. It feels so long since we've done this. It's been like 2 weeks of not uploading, mainly because life just got in the way. Not even like fun life, just life. So I'm sorry, I missed you. But we are back with another set of videos. This time we are going to talk all things Miss Saigon, which is currently touring around the UK. If you don't know what I set, basically we'll get into it in a minute, but I do 2 videos each show that I see. Today we are doing the Nervous Guide. If you want to know what a Nervous Guide is, stick around, we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. Oh, let's do that. I grabbed my tea. I suggest you get one too. Don't question the mug, it's just the first one that I found. But yes, we are back with another set of videos for a show. Like I said, this time we're doing it for Miss Saigon, the UK tour. You're thinking, hey, what are you talking about? What do you mean by sets? Right, let me have a sip of tea. We'll do the spiel. Hold on. Right. For every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos, time and willing permitted. The first one of the 2 is this one. This is the Nervous Guide to the show. The Nervous Guide's basically anything and everything you need to know before you go in. So that could be things like merchandise that is sold, view from my seat, content and sensory warnings, anything about the theatre. It's theatre I don't really know well, or I think might be helpful information, yada yada. That is this video, video number 1 of 2. Video 2 of 2 is the review. The review is often and always, I don't know why I didn't do it this time, put in inverted commas. Why do we do that? Because at the end of the day, I'm just one little solo individual who enjoys watching shows, and sometimes, like today, I go and see them alone. Don't get to have the post-show chat, the post-show rundown, what I liked, what I didn't like, who I liked, things I enjoyed about the show, things I might have not enjoyed about the show, yeah, things like that. So that is the second of 2, it's like second of the videos, video 2 of 2. There we go. It's been a long day, can you tell? So without further ado, let's get into the Nervous Guide. Let's talk firstly about view from my seat. I saw this show in the Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham. I feel like the reason I made such a mess of that is because I just call it the Alex. The Alex in Birmingham, which is one of my favourite theatres in Birmingham, don't tell the others. I literally bought my ticket for the show no, more than 2. About 4 days before the show actually happened, so I had next to no choice on where I sat. I literally just had a choice of 4 different places which were individual seats, which was useful because I was an individual. I sat in the dress circle, row K, seat 13. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it either. The number, not the seat. The seat itself was pretty decent. As always, I will leave a picture of, or a video, short video of the view from my seat. The dress circle is the middle circle at the Alex. It is one of my preferred. Either in the Alex, I'm either at one of 2 places. I will be in the dress circle at some area because the view pretty much wherever you sit in the dress is a pretty excellent view, or towards the front of the stalls. Personal preference, I don't go up top at the Alex if I can help it, mainly because I'm a snob but also yeah, I don't know why, it just doesn't tickle my pickle, and we're allowed our preferences. But like I said, it was a decent view, as you can see, or as you have seen. K is also the back row of the dress circle, so there's no one behind. The seats were pretty comfortable, nothing dug in at all. All in all, pretty decent seat. I have no qualms with it. Next up, let's do merch, which used to be the last thing I did because it was something I added in, but I have it in my hand. I literally brought the programme and this nearly didn't happen. Basically, I arrived into the theatre space with about half an hour to go. I then joined the ridiculous female toilet queue for the dress circle. If you've ever been to the Alex, I feel like I've never been to the Alex and not had to deal even with this queue, because it's just something. So then I had like 15 minutes before curtain up, technically. Excuse me. I had to run for a train afterwards and now I feel under the weather. Don't run, kids. Yeah, so I had like 15 minutes before curtain went up. I went to go and buy a drink because I hadn't took one with me, and asked behind the bar, do you have any programmes? They were like, no, we think we've sold out. Few people have asked. And I was like, Then I went to go into the auditorium area, and the lovely front of house staff member who checked my ticket was holding a little tote bag, a little black tote bag. It was kind of hidden, and I was like, ooh, I think I know what that means. So I was like, do you by any chance have any programs? And he was like, yes, of course I do. I was like, oh my goodness, good, because everywhere that I have checked with or looked for, I even looked at the merch table, which was downstairs, no sign of a program anywhere. And he had, I think after me, he had 2 more. That was it. I think I told him I loved him. I was just like, oh, thank you. Because when you are a solo watcher, you need something to entertain yourself with in the interval. And I tend to just look through the programme and see who's in it and where I've seen them before. It's a great time. I also usually take my Kindle, but I didn't read today. I got the programme. It was £5 or £5.50. Can't quite remember. I literally just said take my money. So that is merch. There is other merch available, but like I said, I got into the theatre area quite late and just made sure I went to the toilet before I went, because this show is a long show and I knew I would need a wee at some point. So let's go into running time. The running time for this show is as follows, because I took a picture of the wonderful Alex poster which they put up, which I will be talking about a lot in the next like 5 minutes. So they put the approximate running times. Act 1 is 1 hour and 15 minutes, the interval is 20 minutes, and Act 2 is an hour, suggesting, well, they've got approximate time end time 10:10. I think that's put up for the evening performance. I was filming the bows at 17:16. Bear in mind we started the show at about 2:30. I say about because the curtain had not gone up at 25:02, so about 2:30. It is a long show. It is quite the watch, but it's okay. We can have a lengthy show occasionally. You just need to wriggle about in the interval, which is what I did. Moving on to the content and sensory warnings. The reason I still have my phone in my hand is because, like I said, the poster along with the running times has a lot of information, so I'm just going to read that to you. This performance contains scenes of a sexual and violent nature, wartime themes, try saying that quickly, firearms, derogatory and coarse language, drug use, and simulated smoking of cigarettes. The production also contains strobe lighting, gunshots, loud sound effects, theatrical haze, and pyrotechnics. Now, I took a picture of this as I walked up the stairs, didn't read it until my seat, and then I was like, what have I got myself in for? I have never seen Miss Saigon previously to today's performance, and I knew where it was set. I was aware at some point there would be a gunshot or two, but reading all that was like, okay, buckle in. If you don't know me and my, I don't ever know what to call them, dislikes? I don't know. My main things are visible guns, gunshots, loud noises, occasionally bright lights, and just general chaos. Loud chaos though. Usually, for the most part, I'm very much a noise-based person. There we go. So when I read that in my seat, I was like, okay, we're in for something. I do have to say, the pyrotechnics, unless I missed them, was there any? I don't know. But yeah, the long and short of it is that all of the things I just listed are very much part of the show. My notes, I put Act 1, lots of visible guns throughout, because there's occasionally some pointed at people during large scenes, but in fact there is actually only, that was the wrong hand to try and do one with, one gunshot fired in Act 1. It is kind of built up to, I feel like I can say what happens, but at the same time some people might not have ever seen the show. But there is a, I'm gonna say it, there is a death that happens in Act 1. There is a bit of a to-do beforehand. A gun is pointed at somebody and the person that is pointed at is like, go on, shoot, you won't, nah, and then bang, there they're gone. That made it sound so less serious than it actually was. But yeah, there is one solitary gunshot fired in Act 1. I did cover my ears for both gunshots that happened, because there is also only one that happens in Act 2. I covered my ears for both and they did still feel quite loud. I don't know if it's because of the auditorium we were in, but they were loud. They were loud gunshots. They were probably boof, which was impressive. So yeah, there is only one main gunshot in Act 1, and it's not really circled by any other music or anything like that, and I think that's why it's so impactful. The person that dies does then kind of get raised up like they're being lifted up on something. Then they just end up walking through a door at the end. They're just like, oh god. That was just my amusing perspective of that. Act 2, again, a lot of visible guns throughout, both halves. There's a lot of guns there, but again, like I said, only one actual gunshot. It ends, or it pretty much is, in the last 5 minutes of the show. Again, you kind of get less warning with this one, and again it is quite loud, but I knew it was going to happen because I knew the story of the show, so I was kind of prepared. So when the character kind of goes into a little moment behind a piece of set or a door of set, I kind of knew it was time, so I went, and it went bang. And then the show pretty much ends because it has to. Yeah, it has to. It has to end there. So apart from a short moment in Act 1 and a short moment in Act 2, there is no other guns fired, and that was so nice. I was very much fearing that there was going to be a lot of gunfire and gunshot through this show. The other thing to mention though, in Act 2 is one scene in which they are kind of in a, not a throwback, what is it? flashback. During a flashback scene where the Americans are being evacuated out of Vietnam, there is a helicopter that appears. Just the like bits that it lands, I don't know what the technical, you know when you have a helicopter and it lands and the things that they're like the metal things on the bottom, those are visible. People get raised up into the sky. 4 people actually, 2 from the ground, 2 from a raised platform, and then the noise kind of circulates of a helicopter sound with a light onto the audience to indicate that the helicopter has left the building. It was a lot. It was very loud, and the sound did continue for about 30 seconds after the light had left the auditorium space. So it's again something to be aware of. But all in all, as you will probably guess when you see the next video, I'm glad I got there, because it was very much a last minute decision. So yeah, I don't want to say too much now, obviously, because there'll be a secondary video where we're going to discuss and review. So we're going to leave that video here because I feel like I've said everything I need to say in regards to the nervous guide side of things. So all that's left to say is usual, which is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back next time. Other than that, the last thing to say, and I need to switch hands with my mug because I'm always doing this with my right hand and it feels wrong to do it with my left. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen and goodbye. Bye.